Hi folks, how you doing? What have we got now? We've just finished our first ship, and lo and behold, we have another ship. Let me spin the camera around. You may have seen it in the thumbnail. There we go. The German battle cruiser. Not sure what she was actually. But, it's one of the Airfix vintage classics again. It says there it was the most powerful battleship in the world at the time in 1941. So we're going to open the box up and see what we got. So she's quite a bit longer than the previous ship I'd done, which was HMS Ajax. So hopefully there won't be such small parts on this one, because the parts will be bigger, but we will see. Get the instructions open. So a bit unconventional maybe, but you can see what I've done. I've glued and masked it together so that it doesn't come apart, because every time you release it or let go of it, it starts working its way apart from each other. So that's hopefully gonna make it nice and solid. It doesn't matter about this tape inside, because it's all going to be covered up. It can stay there if it doesn't come off. In fact, I might just put another piece further up there, just to make sure it's sturdy. So I'm picking up the deck. I've just been trimming it up a bit, but I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get that together. I don't know if you can see, it's massively warped. I might have to heat that up and try and bend it flat. It goes up at the front, pointy ends up here, sorry, by the tape. That's the pointy end. The bow, but it's definitely warped all out of shape. How the devil am I going to glue that in? Now let's try and put a bit of heat on it, see if I can mould it back flat. So I'm just gonna, I've done the best I can here, and I'm just gonna let that set overnight so it's nice and firm. And there are definitely going to be gaps I've got to fill, because it just won't go together down in there, and at the bow, horrible piece at the front there which will need filling in. So anyway, that's the first stage, or first bit. So tomorrow or next time we will fit the stern, glue that in. Don't think I'm going to get that in there very easily if I try and do it now. Plus I've not got any more. That's where it's going to go. Okay. Catch you tomorrow. Right, so here we are. Hopefully I have got this hull and deck together now. So I placed this on here just to weigh it down because it was bulging up at this point, but the glue should actually be set now. No, it's not. No, I'm squeezing that together. That's a shame. Okay, so that may be set at the front, but not the sides, so I'm going to have to open that up, get some glue in there, and leave that for a wee bit longer. Yeah, I know, it looks a bit unconventional, but I'm trying to re-glue the sides. It hasn't taken very well. Where the deck joins the hull, so I've re-glued it, moved the bands around a bit and put a little bit of weight on there just to see if it will cure the issue. Give it an hour, I think, and then see what it's like. So this is the big reveal. I've taken the elastic bands off. We seem to have managed to get the sides glued up. It's not too bad. Feels quite rigid. I think there, I might need to do a bit more there actually before I go too far. Yeah, I'm going to have to glue that. Yeah, definitely going to have to work on that bit a bit more. Okay, let me do that and get back to you. Right, so the first big reveal wasn't a success. So we've glued it up again. And I'm just going to take some of these elastic bands off. The trouble is, the more glue you put on, the worse it looks. So you try and do these jobs without excess glue, but it's so difficult. Once it's on the model, it doesn't like coming off. So that's the stern. Do this up on the bow, and these are all areas that I re-glued them yesterday. I don't know any other way of holding it all together for a set time other than using elastic bands. But once I've got the basis of the ship together and secure, I can start doing all the ancillary equipment on top. Now that feels a lot better. There was a massive gap down there. It's not too bad. Now I think a little bit of filler in there should cover that nicely. So that's going to be fine. The deck doesn't cave in, so it must be secured both sides. So you can see a little bit of excess glue there, but it's not too bad. Once that's painted, you won't see that. Yeah, and everywhere else. Yeah, it's not. I think we're going to go with that. There's still, if you can see, if I press that, you can still see where it's not glued together well. Maybe I have to have another go there. Okay. Right, so third time lucky on this one. Hopefully this will be the last time I've got to try and secure this. So we get the elastic bands off. Been trickier than I would have imagined with a larger model. It's just not gone together as nicely as I would have hoped, but it'll do. Right, so there's a little bit of progress going on. I've got central propeller, that one there, in place and gluing. Port and starboard propellers are gluing onto their brackets, and I've got it sitting on its stand. I thought I'd do the stands first this time before I paint it, because the glue will get a better grip on the plastic, and I won't have to scratch the plastic off to secure it. So I'm going to let that set now for an hour or more, because every time I disturb it, it moves what I've already done. And these were incredibly fiddly as well, and I've got to put these pieces on the end here of each one, and then they fit up in there, go across. So that'll be a bit later on. Okay, so welcome back. We are progressing slightly. It's been a day or so now since I last did anything on here, but I have been doing little bits, and that was predominantly the propeller shafts, as I've been told they're called. We've got those stuck on. That was a bit fiddly because I've had to do one at a time and let it glue and set. They're not perfect. No one said it would be perfect. So anyway, they're on. Now we can progress onto building up the deck. Now I may have to paint the deck first before I start assembling things. So we're going to look into that right now. So what we're going to be doing next is part 4. This section here, so that's going to be the base of it. There's quite a few other little bits and pieces, so I can get all those together. So that's ready to go on as one unit. Do that next. Okay, so we've got fitted that part. We've also, look over there, put that bit together. So that is this section here, and that section there. So I think this poor model has been subjected to some heat at some point, because I've already had warping on the decks there, which has misshaped a load of things. So I've got this part which will be fitting onto there, but just have a look at the part. Let's put it over there. the part that's got to go on there. Now if you look at the end of that, can you see the warping? And the profile of it should be flat, and it's definitely limp at the end. So my only chance there is to heat that up, try and bend that back before I try and fit it, but it is rather an odd shape at the end. It shouldn't be like that because it goes on here. And you can see that corner, it's not going to fit very nicely at all, whereas that side of it is, you know, you get away with that. Might have to put a bit of. So what I've done, I mean, it doesn't fit brilliantly. I tried to screw it up by just putting it in boiling water and trying to manipulate it with my fingers, but it's flattened it up a bit. But the shrinking, as you can see, it's shrunk in at the ends, and shouldn't really be shrunk in like that. And when you put it where it's going to go, which will be there, not too worried about that gaps like that you can get away with, but it's not sitting perfect on the edge because the top part has shrunk together, so to speak, and the same with there. But not to worry, I'll have to tidy that up, see if I can get a bit of filler on there just to cover the gaps. Won't matter too much. I'm sure we can make something out. So what I've done here is found some little slithers of plastic. Oh, where did that go? There, just to give you an example. So this piece here, I've cut a piece off of that and stuck it there to take that space up, and I found another slither that I've been able to just trim up and put that there, and I think probably with a little bit of filler over that, that'll be quite unnoticeable once the paint's on there. We'll have a look, we'll give it a try anyway. I'm going to let that set now for a couple of hours and come back. So there's some incredibly fiddly bits, as you would expect. Just waiting for those to glue, and I seem to have lost one of those, which I think is a searchlight. It just pinged off, went on the carpet somewhere. So I'm going to be one short. Probably won't be noticeable, but so there's another couple of searchlights on this section which I've glued in, and there's something else. What else has got to go? Yeah, searchlights. That piece there. There's this piece here. So we've got 2 more searchlights. And how many have I got? Looking at this. 3. 3 more left. So I've got 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to have to try and model something out of a bit of scrap, maybe, unless I'm incredibly lucky and come across it on the floor. So yeah, we'll get that glued up. Push on a bit more. So back on it. It's another day gone by. Only a few seconds for you guys. So I've been assembling little bits and pieces which have all got to now be glued in place. I've finished gluing the bridges on, if that's what they are. I've got the funnel glued in place. So I'm going to remove the bands. Hopefully there's nothing loose that hasn't got any glue applied, and then we're going to go and stick all these on, and hopefully it will start looking a bit ship-like. Gradually getting all the guns on. They're so tiny though. These little things there, up round there. Now I'm trying to fit this piece, and this is where things become a bit technical because it doesn't fit. I'm supposed to just push in place, and it doesn't, even if I apply a fair bit of force. So I've got to try and scratch out the inside of that to make it bigger, just so it will fit on there. It's just an imperfection in the mouldings, obviously. Yeah. Now we've eventually got that part on. That there, by honing out the inside. I've just put this section in there, but I've had to support it with a little odd offcut of plastic because it keeps drooping down. So I want to try and get it as square as possible so it looks right. I've still got lots of other bits now. I've come to the conclusion, oh flip, clumsy me. I'll put that bit of plastic back in there. I've come to the conclusion I've got to paint these lifeboats before I mount those in. They're going to go in there, something like that. But if I don't paint them first, I'm going to be able to, not going to be able to get to the other sides of them. So we're going to paint those first. All right, let's wedge this bit of plastic back. So I'm going to let the glue that I've put on tonight, I'm going to let that all go hard before I do much more. I've added that section there, that section there, that's gone on. I've got some weird dome pieces which have got to go on here, but what I really want to do now is put a coat of paint on the deck. Before I get too many bits and pieces on it, I need to be able to reach everywhere with the brush. Now there's something that goes in here, can't find it, can't find what that is. It's supposed to look like that, and I'm not sure what it is. Oh, actually it could be this part there. Do you think? It's got lines going down there. No, those lines go that way. I don't know then. Maybe it isn't that. But these are those strange pieces that go up here and they cover that in. Well, I think they cover that in. Quite strange. But anyway, the next thing I should be doing is painting it, and that I think is going to be the end of this part. We do it in two halves, so we'll get the paintbrushes out and give the deck a coat, and then come back in part two, show you what it looks like, and then stick some more bits and pieces on, little things like that. You can't see, it's not focusing. That's it. But, stick all these bits and pieces on which I've already glued together, and so part two will be just as long as part one probably. Time we get the paint on. I'm not going to do all the paint because there will be lots of other touch-ups or snagging to do once we've got it all assembled. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and subscribe if you would, if you want to watch a few more of these. They seem to be coming out quite regular now. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, part two.